too riled up, Raylene.
Well, that's all right.
Too riled up.
That's all right. I get riled up about some things sometimes.
It
is all right.
I don't know.
Well, we already got somebody tuned in.
Do we? Oh, excellent. Well, welcome to the Barre Beat podcast, live from Raylene's basement. Temporarily. We're getting close.
We are getting close.
We're getting like super, super close, right?
I'm excited, actually.
So I saw a picture of the studio that you put out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be nice. Can't wait.
Me either.
Patiently waiting. So then I'll be able to say live from Fly on the Wall Studios
at
on
185 North Main Street
185
in Barre.
North Main Street in Barre.
Yeah.
That'll be nice.
It will be.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
You're
Hanging
doing all
in
right?
there.
You staying
You
out
and
of
I
trouble?
are both a little froggy. The allergies are getting us. Both.
I know. Mine isn't necessarily allergies, but I'm definitely having some issues. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm having some sinusy stuff.
I get laryngitis quite a bit, and unfortunately, I think I got it. I was sick like a couple weeks ago.
Well, sip on your tea.
Yes, I did pick up tea, so hopefully I won't lose my voice during the middle of this podcast. So, wanna just jump right in?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
All right. So we got city council tomorrow night, 6:00, of course. And one of the things that they're going to be discussing, well, we're not actually going to discuss. It's on the consent agenda. However, I think it's pretty important to just leave it on the consent agenda. We've got the police cams, the body cams coming in.
Which is awesome.
Wicked awesome.
I'm so very excited for
awesome.
them to have them. And I'm proud that they get to have the body cams.
Yep, me too. I'm really excited about that. A couple years ago, probably 5-6 years ago, I bought a body cam to show Tim because the reason why he didn't want to do the body cams was because it was too expensive. But don't get me wrong, it's pretty stinking expensive.
Right, it's expensive.
We're going to be,
but it's worth it.
It is. It absolutely is worth it. The 10-year contract for $416,345 with Axon for police department body-worn cameras, and that includes tasers. So we do have a federal grant for $22,000 that will help supplement that thing. I'm just gonna say I'm super excited, and for those that don't know, I love watching police cams.
Right. You like to go on YouTube and stuff and watch the videos of the police cams.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
Mostly, but you get most of your amusement out of the drunken women.
Drunken people in general, or the self-righteous politicians that are like, do you know who I am? Nobody cares who you are. And
Right.
you're just a pompous
Ass.
Yes.
Yeah. And you fucked up, so get in the car.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
But yeah, and just so folks aren't too afraid, it's going to be broken up. It's a 10-year plan, or a 10-year contract. So 20,000, which it's the reason why it's lower on those years is because of the grant.
Yep.
And then 41,000 for the next 8
I think it's
years.
awesome. I think it's needed. I think it's well worth every dime.
I agree.
For the safety of our officers, but also for others. There are instances where, somebody may need to say, hey, this happened during a stop. But I hope that it starts holding the judicial system more accountable, even when here's the proof. How much more evidence do you need?
I agree. So it's, believe it or not, we're one of the few agencies in the state of Vermont that does not have body cams, which I'll be very honest with you. I'm like super glad that Chief Vale was the one that really wanted this to go through, and Teddy was very supportive of it as well. It was so funny. He came up to me and he's like, I really hope you're going to support the cams. I'm like, of course I'm going to. I mean,
Yeah.
yes.
Hell, I wish
I
we could
know.
have some up around the city, truthfully.
Oh, I'm like big fan of cameras all over the city. We should absolutely do that.
Yeah, I like
100%.
literally have I take no issue with that. If you're not being a dumbass, then it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
I mean,
I completely agree with you.
You know, I know that some people think confidentiality, whatever. But
Yeah.
I especially now and lately, I know that I wish there are times that I wish that there were plenty more on Main Street.
Yep. I agree. So we have also applied for a $200,000 grant through the state of Vermont. And so we haven't been awarded that yet, but hopefully we will be. The grant for the $22,000 is a small rural tribal law enforcement micro grant. It says here it's only 1 year, but the thing, when you look at the scale or the graph, it's 2 years that we're getting paid. So I don't know why that's there. But either way, $41,000 isn't that much for safety for our police officers, honestly.
I agree.
Yep.
You gotta boost your mic a little.
Oh, I got to boost my mic
Just a little bit.
a little bit. Somebody complained about it.
Yeah.
Is that any better?
You were a little bit too quiet, Michael.
I'm sorry, folks. I apologize.
It's not normally that way, but because your voice
Lost my
is
voice.
quieter right now.
The struggles of not having a voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that. We are also going to be accepting we pre-approved to receive assistance through the Municipal Technical Assistance Program, which is the Central Vermont Regional Planning Commission. So that'll help us. It makes us eligible for project types for activities like water supply, wastewater infrastructure, housing, community recover, all that wonderful jazz. And that's going to be on the consent agenda. Another thing on the consent agenda is the conversation about tearing down the dams. So here's a picture of the Jockey Hollow Dam, which, I mean, I remember swimming at as a kid. Do you?
I remember going fishing there with my grandfather.
Oh, really? So I never went fishing there. I hated fishing. But I know that at the corner of the dam on the left-hand side, if you put your hand down like this, you can catch minnows.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I'm not going to lie. It was very cool. But sadly, the dam is going to be torn down.
Now, is that supposed to help with future flooding? Is that correct?
Supposed to be for the fish.
Okay.
And fish and water, in general, maintenance of the river.
So without that dam, does that, pose
No, it's not gonna cause a problem
at all?
No, it won't cause any problems.
All right.
And then the other dam is it's called, that's not this one. This one's the Brooklyn. Oh no, the first one on the left side, that's called the Habep Dam. Habep, Happep.
I don't know where that one is.
So that's behind the Quality Inn up by Ruth Ears Otter,
Ruth Ears. Okay.
which is a
sponsor.
Exactly.
Yes, they're a sponsor. Ruth Ear Auto is a sponsor of the Air Dot podcast.
I'm actually going to be. They've got me scheduled for. They got me scheduled for an alignment on the 21st, I think. So,
Nice. They just did my car on Friday. They put my winter tires on and changed my oil. Did all that good stuff.
yeah, I'm totally bummed that it's gonna take. They're like booked out. So, folks, you gotta get earlier. You gotta call them and get whatever you need done. You need to call them now. And then the other side there is the one by Trow and Holden, and they're going to tear that one down as well. And here's the locations.
I had forgotten about that one.
Ooh.
Oh.
What's going on here?
I don't know. It didn't like that picture.
No, it did not. Let's try that again.
There you go.
Oh, that was kind of weird.
It was.
Yeah. So that's the other one is Trow and Holden. And then here's a picture of about where the dams are. Brooklyn Street is where the Trow and Holden, and then Quality Inn. Is it Quality Inn?
Yeah, I think so.
It's down by Ruth Ears.
Yeah, the one by Ruth Ears is.
And then Jockey Hollow Dam, which is right there. Yep. So that'll be, I don't know. It kind of makes me sad. I'm not going to lie.
I'm assuming it won't start until spring at this point. I don't know how hard it is to remove a dam.
I'm not sure. I'm sure the paperwork says when it's going to start, but I don't remember what it said, and I don't remember seeing it. But that being said, I'm sure it's going to start soon, and you can find out tomorrow night at the city council meeting as well. But a part of me is like really sad about it. I don't know if that's just me. Do you feel a little sad?
Well, because it's a little piece of history, right? I mean, it's always sad to see little pieces of history go away.
It is.
Especially like lately, we feel like little bits and pieces have been going away more often than not.
Yes.
And so I think that we just get saddened by those things. It's hard to see so many things change.
Yeah. So I tried to find out when and why they put the dams up by going on to the newspapers for the Barre Times and all of that. And I couldn't find it. So if anybody knows when those dams went up, please drop it in the comments.
I bet my dad could tell you.
Probably.
Yeah.
I assume they went up sometime after 1927, after the flood. But I don't know exactly when.
Yeah, I'm just curious as to what effects that will have going forward.
Yeah, I mean...
Save a fish.
It's a little...
Save a home. I don't know. You know?
It's a little above my pay grade, but it sounds like it's not going to affect the flooding issues.
And I will say that everyone that I have met on the river task force so far, they've been really great people. They've been super informative. They've been very easy to talk to. They were at the last time we did the Barre Up. A couple of them were in the planning side of the meeting, where Rosemary and I were, and it was really cool to have them in there.
Well, speaking about you, Rosemary, and I, another thing that happened was the the downtown employee recognition dinner.
Yes, that was a great night. It was a lot of fun.
It was very nice. And they had, what did they have for food?
Chicken, muscatoli, salad, and roll. A true Barre value meal. I mean, that is the Barre meal right there in a nutshell. If you're going anywhere for a dinner, and I don't care where it is, and it's like a Barre thing, that's what you're going to have. Chicken and muscatoli.
Yep.
Yeah. With salad drenched in Italian dressing
It was drenched.
But it's so good.
It was very good. I'm not gonna lie. It was very yummy.
The
rolls were
come
amazing.
on.
The rolls were definitely amazing.
Yeah, you can't get better than that.
And Connie makes the question about whether or not there was power generation. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't think so.
Oh yeah, that would.
I went because I've been at the dam and it doesn't look like a power. Like I feel
not even down by Trown Holden.
Maybe. I mean, I don't. Again, I'm not really positive. I wish
we should look into that.
We should. We absolutely should.
That's a really good question. I wonder.
I got a couple Barre history books, so maybe I'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
So back to the regularly scheduled program. We are going to be talking about the ADUs again. It's going to be the second reading. What's really interesting is I went out to let Lee out this morning, and I was reminded why I don't support having an ADU without any parking whatsoever. In my backyard, it's very clear that it's been used to back something in because, I don't know, the trailer's there. Somebody had parked their car like right where I would get access to my trailer. So if I wanted to take my trailer out this morning, I wouldn't have been able to. And it just reminded me of like, there's consequences to passing ordinances or, zoning ordinances like this. I and we have a rather large apartment building there that has a lot of cars in it. And I think it was somebody from that apartment building, but I'm not positive. And I wasn't upset or anything because it wasn't like it didn't affect me at all. You would have
been upset if it had affected you.
Correct. If it affected me, I would have been a little annoyed, but it didn't affect me. But it reminded me that, parking in Barre City is
super important.
It's kind of important. But
and right now, I think it's a concern as well when we start talking about winter parking bans,
which is November 15th, right?
It's right around the corner. When you start talking about winter parking bans and, where are people going to park if they're normally parking street side? And, I know they say there's plenty of free parking spaces around the city. There are parking lots specific, but how far do you expect a tenant to walk as well is another thing. And some, I agree, some people don't have cars anymore. Totally agree with that. But there's a way around it. We learned that too through the DRB. That people you can apply for it all at the same time.
Right. And Connie asks if it's on a private lawn. Correct. I mean, if it's on the lawn, that's your private property. I think there's zoning regulations about, whether or not you can have two driveways. That I'm not positive. I think there was something that went on Orange Street where people were upset about it. So a little bit of news. Tess Taylor is going to be the new homelessness and housing liaison, which is a grant-funded position that will run about 18 months. She's going to be located at the old PD building. So congratulations to Tess and her lovely dog. I love her dog. It's amazing.
I didn't even know that such a position was open. Was it advertised?
No, but it wasn't hired by the city, I don't believe.
Oh.
So I don't know anything about that. I just know that she got the job.
Oh.
Or she's going to be doing that. So it was,
well, cool.
Again, I love her dog. Of course, I love dogs anyway.
I think it wasn't this last. I think it was the parade before last when Rory and Bridget were running. I believe Tess had her dog in the parade.
Yeah. I think it's a Labradoodle.
Very proud.
Well, I mean, it's a Labradoodle. Cute. It's adorable.
I love Labradoodles.
I do too.
Anyways, they're super cute.
I love it when she's walking down, and she sometimes walks while we're doing Barry Beat. Mm-hmm. So they, like my dogs, are hyperallergenic. They don't shed. Correct.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you, German Shepherds, they shed.
Yeah.
They shed a lot.
Yeah. A
real lot.
Mm-hmm. They do.
Yeah. It's really terrible. And then, of course, we had on Saturday, the tires for warmth.
So we did. And it was super successful. They had a huge turnout. First of all, the 2 days prior where they took donations. And they take them all throughout different locations in the state. But right here at the Granite Museum, they had a good amount of tires that were usable and sellable donated. And then on Saturday, they had the sale. And all proceeds of that sale will go to the Emergency Heating Fund through Capstone. And we should be hearing pretty soon what the total amount for that was.
Nice. Yeah. On Friday, right?
I believe it's the end of this week, yes.
Cool. And then we also have on the agenda the previous committee members are going to come in and talk about the Transportation Public Works Committee. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that's going to be about. I know that the mayor has got him and Sam Stockwell have their name associated with it. I'm not positive what it's going to be about. Mm-hmm. I know that a couple of them left because they were disappointed with how the committee was going. Mm-hmm. I mean, one of the problems is that we as a council supported a charge that was way overreaching. It turned that committee into basically an oversight committee, and it made the job of the Public Works director very difficult. So I'm sure that they were disappointed with the outcome of that and how there was finally some kickback on it. And I think of a project that they were not very supportive of, which was the Merchant Street Maple Avenue project, which was done by the state.
Yes, and I'm going to tell you right now that I use that intersection a lot because I go back and forth to the cemetery a lot to visit my mom. And as much of a pain in the ass it was, because it was a long process.
Yeah.
It is absolutely amazing. It was definitely worth it. Having the turn lane, even when you come up, if you're coming up Maple Avenue and you want to turn right onto Merchant, you don't have to pull out into the wrong lane of traffic to go around and make the turn. It's a nice, smooth transition into that road now. And just being able to, and it's so much wider. It looks nicer with the bank and the stone bank and the work that they did. They did a great job, and it makes a huge difference.
I agree. So I don't know what that conversation's going to look like, but we shall see. And then the other thing that's happening is the state of Vermont is going to be coming back in to talk about the North End again. For those that don't know, Phil Scott, for the first time, I've ever seen a sitting governor come into city council chambers and pitch to his community. You know, Phil Scott he's a Barre boy, right?
That's right.
He was born here, right in the McFarlane house, mm-hmm. which was at the time the hospital. And, he loves the community he came from, and he wants to
He still has family here.
Yeah, exactly. And he wants to make it better. And Connie, you're right. Shumlin was in there, but the reason why he was in there was for a press conference. This is the first time that I know of where a governor came
Before
to
the council.
It was a little bit different. Shumlin did a press conference
About a
There
huge
was
drug bust.
a huge drug bust. Was that the one where there was like 13?
There was 31. It was.
I got my numbers back.
Yeah, it was
back
31,
around.
and it was called the Barre something. I forget now. I answered that question that night when somebody asked, and now I can't think.
No, he didn't say, Connie. I had to ask him afterwards because I didn't remember it, and he told me that it was for a press conference. I think I had a manager that was.
He did laugh when it was said at council, and he said, "No, that was for a drug bust." But then he kind of like ended it there that it was a press conference. But yeah. But we're very fortunate that he came here and is pitched. Said, "This is not anything set in stone. These are just ideas. These are pieces to a puzzle that I'm asking the city to look at and put together, and how it's put together it may look very different from any proposal, but they want to work with the city and the people of the North End to come up with a plan and figure it out. And there's a lot of money on the table, and so finding some potential, finding some common ground, and being able to say, is it going to look exactly what it has looked like our whole lives? No, it's not. There will be probably bigger buildings that house a lot of apartments. But no, that does not mean it's going to be all low income housing.
You can't do all low income housing.
Right, you can't do that. But I like to think of it as Tom has often referred to it, and a couple others of you, as the gateway to the city. This is when people come into the city from that direction, this is what they see first. And what impression do we want to give? What is that we want to give? And I just think we're super lucky, super fortunate to have them come in. Doug Farnham will be in again tomorrow. And I forget who's
Secretary Moore.
Yeah.
Secretary Moore will be there.
It'll be interesting to see what they have come up with.
And there was some criticism about why they selected that area. Like you said, it's the gateway into the city.
Well, and it's the hardest hit.
It was the hardest hit. Well, I mean, you could make an argument that it was pretty hit hard down by Scampini.
I consider that the North End as well.
Correct. The reason why Scampini was not selected for this, because when you're talking about a large project, you got to go with the low-hanging fruit. For Scampini to do something like this, there would be a lot of houses that you would have to do significant buyouts for. And it would be the amount of space down there is not the same as what's here on the North End.
Right.
And I'll show folks what they were looking at for, possible buyouts and redevelopment. And it's a study area. That's what they called it. And it's, you look at the topography, when you look at the topography of the areas that were hit, this is the most suitable for a redevelopment plan that's cheaper than, purchasing the RK miles and all of that. And then like putting everything on stilts, it's just not as feasible.
Right.
And one of the things that people got a little concerned about was they saw these maps. These are planning maps. They're very similar to the Planning Commission's city plan. But for clarity, like these buildings right here, on the right side of Beckley going up. Those are just hey, let's throw this in there to see what it looks like kind of deal. The chances of those houses being built, very unlikely, right? And the reason
it's just an idea.
Just an
it's just
idea.
For visual,
correct,
visual context of this is what we could do.
And if you look at these smaller buildings right here, that's over in the Cannoli Park. Oh man, now I can't think of the name. What's that park called?
By the police department?
No, down by on Pleasant Street. It's Canales Park.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And you can't. It's a conservation area, and you can't build anything there. So I mean, yeah, they put those houses there, but it's just they just threw that together. It's not like we're gonna go and have people sell their buildings. And one of the things that I've heard a lot about is eminent domain. No, not happening.
It's never even
not
been mentioned.
Gonna happen. It was not even mentioned that night. And as a sitting councilor, and as long as I am in that seat, I will never support eminent domain I know. I never support eminent domain on a private residence house. It's wrong. The only exception I would ever make on that is the building that we all know about and we all loathe. That is the only building I would ever fully support in eminent domain.
J.J. Newberry.
Yes.
Ding,
J.J.
ding, ding,
Newberry's ding, ding goes the trolley. Is it? Ding, ding goes the trolley.
And I just want to say, while we're on this subject and we're talking about that, I've heard a lot of chatter and seen a lot of chatter in some of the chat groups that people don't like that this plan was all of a sudden sprung on them. So I just want to mention that a couple weeks prior to them bringing the design, they were at council. Doug Farnham and some of his colleagues were at council, and they said in a couple of weeks we're going to come back to you all with Black River Designs, and we're going to just throw out some rough ideas there, and we'll talk to you and see what your thoughts are. And so it was they did say they were going to be there, and I believe it was warned.
Correct. And once again, you know what this looks like? This looks like our city plan. Right. Which our city plan, if folks go to the website and look at our city plan,
that happened a long time ago.
That happened a long time ago, but there is a lot of buildings in the city plan in our downtown that are not there. That it's just an idea of what could happen. But the people that don't want to sell their house, don't worry about that. No one's going to force you out. And anybody that tells you that is fear-mongering and lying to you, honestly. But yeah, I mean, hopefully we can do something, because if you look at that map, that beautiful little conceptual design, if folks were to sell out or take the buyout, I mean, I think the one that's the most likely would be the one on the way far north end, because I know that there's a couple people there that, really got hit hard. I mean, one individual's already going to demolish the house. And, I don't know, you think of the old M&M, which was the Salvation Army. That got hit pretty hard as well, and I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it moves forward. I can't wait until tomorrow night. I highly recommend that folks join in and watch it.
And when they start talking about, they're going to have some listening sessions in the North End and about this project, and when that comes to be, make sure you're there and make sure you tell your neighbors about it, and make sure that, because truly your voice is going to be heard, and you're not going to be talking to just people from council. You're going to be talking to these people from the state as well, who truly want to know what it is that you're looking for.
Right. And I'm just going to show some pictures of the affected area. I mean, this is, if you look over here, this is the area that there's going to be a demolishing of the buildings. You get the budget in, which I'm sure it would be, not too many people would feel loss if that was taken down.
No.
And then, this building where the Old People's Health and Wellness Clinic is, and then the Salvation Army.
Do you know what used to be there when I was a kid? Melva Potvin Real Estate.
That was a long time ago, Raylene.
I know. And her daughter, Melva, lived upstairs with her daughters, and we used to go there. Yeah.
Very long time ago.
Yeah.
And I do know that the buildings over there by the snack shack were already up for sale. So that's a huge area that could be potential for a buyout. And I'm sure, I wouldn't be surprised if whoever was selling it wouldn't mind getting rid of it.
No, I know she wouldn't.
Considering she was trying to sell it to begin with.
Yeah.
So I think the thing that we have to do is let's just listen to the process. One of the things that could easily happen is you start poking holes into things, which, there's no doubt that we need federal money, but you've got Bernie Sanders, Phil Scott, Republican, and a progressive socialist working together to get Barre some help. And you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I'm all up for that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to, and I think you got to work with people to get things done. Something that I think is sorely missing in our local politics. But it's really frustrating, and I hope that our council can see it through to the end, because I think it's going to be good for Barre, and even if we get a small piece, it's going to be good for Barre. But that's just my opinion. So let's let people know that we're also working on having a meeting down at the Barre Manor. There's been some problems there, obviously, with some significant drug busts. And, a couple years ago, 10 years ago, oh my goodness, we had some problems there before, and we had a meeting down there, and it kind of like cooled down for a little bit. So we're focusing some light down there. Those people in the Barre Manor, they're scared. Straight up, they're scared.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're terrified. When you have hardcore drug dealers living next door to you with 500 grams of cocaine? Is that what was it?
And it was fentanyl to kill the entire city. Really?
Yeah. That's a huge problem. Huge problem.
Is.
And what really frustrates me about that is that it's, the HUD regulations, and thank you, HUD, for being so difficult. I'm not going to lie. I don't feel like drug dealers, I have very negative feelings on this. We talk about homelessness, and I'll be honest with you. If you're a drug dealer, you're not entitled to a house. Sorry. I'm just not there for you. I also think you should be charged with murder. But when somebody dies from a drug that you sell. But that's just me. I'm a mean, ugly person. So
no, you're not.
Whatever.
You're not saying that you don't. You wouldn't give housing to an addict that is struggling and needs help. You're saying I don't want to house somebody that is selling a murder weapon.
No, 100%.
If there was somebody in the building that was selling illegal guns by the dozens, you probably wouldn't be happy about that either. right, Michael?
Pro Second Amendment.
I said illegal.
Oh,
Like,
illegally.
illegal, yeah.
Well, apparently, if I were to sell my gun to my cousin or my nephew, that's considered illegal now. So,
No, illegal guns. Like there are illegal weapons. There are weapons that most people aren't able to carry.
no gun is illegal.
Oh my God! Yes, there are.
I'm just kidding, folks. Don't get your.
It's the same thing. Just don't sell murder weapons.
I agree.
But I don't say that a gun is a murder weapon in that respect. It's not the same, but I'm just saying.
Want to talk about school board?
We can. I mean, good Lord.
So this
Talk about
Wednesday,
weapons.
I know.
Good God.
So this Wednesday, we're going to be voting on whether or not, or who we're going to replace Ben Moore with.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there's 3 candidates that I know of so far. One of them is Shelley Stevens. One of them is Sarah Pragen and John Lyons. Shelley has experience.
I know Shelley. She's a great lady.
Yeah. I don't know her, but I know that she has some experience with. She has board experience from another community, and I think she has a couple kids in the school system, and then of course Sarah Pragent, who is on the board, and also has a couple kids in the system. I think 1 or 2.
One
kid.
Just has one daughter.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry,
and I
Sarah.
love her too.
And then John Lyons, who has been on our finance committee, which is kind of important now that we're going into the budget season.
He's the only. I don't know who that is.
John
but
Lyons?
I know the other 2. Yeah.
Yeah, he ran for school board a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Nice guy. I love John. Haven't seen him for a while, but nice guy. Really nice guy. I'll say this. All qualified. So.
Well, good. As long as you get somebody in there that actually cares what's going on with the kids, then great.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So I've been getting some significant kickback on my comments about merging of the schools.
You have.
Oh yeah. So we did have a
Are you
conversation
shocked
about.
by that,
No,
Michael?
I'm not shocked by it at all. Although, whatever. We did have a conversation about merging athletics. The reason being is that kids in Barre don't have enough kids to do certain sports, and unfortunately, that means that they're without the ability to do that, and it's kind of sad. And Sonia brought that up, and I was kind of glad that she did because it's all within my desire to have the school merged anyway.
I think they should too. So
Yeah, no, I think it's a good thing. I will say that
can't hurt.
no, because one of the things that people don't understand is that even though Act 46 merged our schools, we were already kind of merged. Most of the stuff that there's not really much that has changed, except for there's only one board meeting. But I do want to share the what it would look like for teachers, just teachers, if we merged and there's some confusion about when I say merge. People think that I'm merging elementary and middle school. One will be elementary and one be middle school, and that's just not accurate. Obviously, there's too many kids for just, for the kids that are PK through 5th. That's just too many for one of the schools. You'd have to do something like, PK through, 3rd or 4th, and then 5th through 8th, something like that in the different schools. But I want to point out that if you were to merge them, we would be able to have 10 of the teachers that we currently have to be math and ELA teachers, which, what does that mean? that means more teachers to get more intense education on those children that are struggling and allow, for the other children that are excelling to excel, and not be slowed down by, I guess that was
No, it's okay to say that, though. It's okay. Because
this is the merged one right here.
Well, it's calling meeting kids where they're at, and
Correct.
It'll make that a lot easier to meet kids where they're at.
Right. It's a good thing, and I will say that this, the pre-K, it's 6 for $29, and that would be large, but that's only half days. So it's actually around 15 per kid, or per class. So it fits within the metrics that is ideal. But yeah, I think that, it's a good thing.
Really.
And it really is. But I don't think we're going to be doing it this March. We'll probably do it, in November, put it on the ballot, hopefully. I think that it's a good thing. Yeah. So that's all I got for city stuff. You got anything?
Not really. No.
No? So I'm just going to give folks an opportunity to log off now. Because I'm about to get into some serious stuff that I touched on last week, and it really frustrates me.
He gets super wound up.
I get very wound up, and I got very wound up before starting the podcast over it. I'm very sensitive towards it. I know that.
Well, tell them that you're going to talk about Israel.
Correct.
So if they want to sign off now, they can sign off.
Yeah.
Or they can stay on and listen.
Yeah. I would recommend signing off.
Or stay on. Maybe they have the same view and they would like to listen.
Maybe they don't.
To Michael.
In which case, that won't be good.
Well, they don't. They don't have to listen.
And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because I saw on one of the agendas for a committee about doing a resolution, and I'm hopeful that the resolution comes out very strong in support of Israel, and very, very strong in condemnation of Hamas. I am what people refer to as a Zionist. I believe that Israel that land was given to the Jewish people by God, and they were there before. They were there during the reign of David, and there's I just point to the Star of David on their flag. There was a nation of Israel, and a nation of Judah, and there is historical precedence for them to live in that land, and it's changed hands. The land, and the last time it changed hands before it went to Israel was from the England to, I think it was UK then, but whatever, to Israel. And I get very hot on this topic because these people have to live with rockets coming to their house, and the only way that they can survive is by using technology such as the Iron Dome, which, for those that don't know what the Iron Dome is, it's when rockets come over Israel, these other rockets that Israel has seeks them out, blows them up in the air so that the rockets don't actually hit their targets. And what an amazing bit of technology. Just absolutely amazing. And I'm very touchy on this subject. And I think that I'm really hopeful that it comes out. as a very strong condemnation, and we'll see. I know that there's a lot of protesting going on, people saying from the river to the sea, for Palestine to be free, which for folks that don't know, that's the wiping out of Israel and killing all the Jews. So when you hear that, that's what that is. And if you don't believe me, you can go check it out. The boycott, divest, and sanction Israel, that's an anti-Semitic movement. So isn't, Holocaust denial. I don't have any, I have no love for those people. Hamas is just a terrible organization.
Just the disgusting things that they have done to everyone, the women and children, but everyone, the men also, and just the disgusting means of death.
There was someone that was talking about. There was a fact check on someone that said that Hamas put a baby in an oven and cooked them, and the fact check, and I can't express the disgust that I have on this. The fact check said, well, you can't prove that they did that. They found the baby in the oven and there was no witnesses, so we don't know if they actually put them in there. Okay.
Right.
I got to be careful. Again, I'll just be careful. So yeah, and I don't. There is lots of uneducated, uneducated opinions out there. Janet, you're 100% correct, and I consider myself educated on this, and I'm not as educated as some, but I know enough to know what I need to know. So. To make an opinion on that. But anyway, so with that said, I don't have anything else. I'll just say this. I won't say this. This is what it looked like after the paragliders came into a rave that was going on. So anyway, I'm all done. I just had to point that out there. It's really irking me. Mm-hmm. It's really getting under my skin. I'll just leave it at that. But
I'm with you on this.
Moving on.
Sure.
Do you have anything?
I don't. I really don't, because I'm the same as you. I will say things that I know I shouldn't say. So,
yeah.
It's I'm shocked to know the way.
Yep.
I'm just shocked.
Yeah. There's definitely
uneducated people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. With that, sorry you guys had to handle that last 10 minutes of that. I do apologize. I don't apologize.
No, I'm going to say we shouldn't apologize for that.
Don't apologize for that because...
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching the Barre Beat podcast live from the temporary location of Fly in the Wall Production Studios. Mm-hmm. I messed that up, but yeah. So with that, you guys have a wonderful night, and we'll
see you at City Council tomorrow
night, and then on Wednesday, maybe at the school board.
Yeah, all on Zoom. You don't have to be in person.
Absolutely.
Stay right in the jammies, just like you are now. We don't mind.